Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Wealth Waits, where we rummage through the rumors and realities of financial prosperity. Boy, that was a lot of R's. Did I really write that? I'm TJ, your host, and today we're going to be answering the age old question: what is compound interest? And should I get some? The answer awaits. See you inside. Well, we've all heard of the mythical money tree, where just by reaching up with our hands, we can take money hand over fist. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, here on Wealth Waits, we look at the real financial gardens of life where, unfortunately, no such magic exists. In the real world, without research, knowledge of markets, methods, and options, you might end up like I do when I'm picking berries out in my berry garden, at the mercy of bloodthirsty hidden thorns. Ow! So let's cast our definition vision for the day and answer the simple question: what is compound interest? Is it some magic spell that's cast on your money where some financial genie speaks the magic words, Compo Moneo Maximus? And voila, your cash over time has grown quicker and bigger than you ever imagined. Well, it might seem like that, but no, that's not what happens. What really happens is if you put your money into a financial vehicle that allows for consistent compounding interest, you earn interest not just on your initial investment and not just on all the other investments you put in after that. You also earn interest on the interest. And that's what makes compound interest one of the greatest wealth building tools on earth. Albert Einstein is quoted as saying, "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it." It's like my berry garden I mentioned earlier. If any of you have ever planted raspberries or blackberries, you know that if you plant just one stalk, you end up with a lot more than that. That one stalk not only produces berries and additional vines, but each year new stalks come up from under the ground, doubling, tripling, quadrupling the harvest year after year after year. If you don't cut those berry bushes back, they'll take over your yard. Let me tell you, the yield is incredible. And that same thing happens with compounding interest on your money. Here's an example. Imagine you invest $1,000 in a savings account with a 5% annual interest rate. In the first year, you'll earn $50 in interest, bringing your total to $1,050. But here's where it gets exciting. In the second year, you'll earn 5% not just on that original 1,000, but also on the $50 interest that you got the first year, totaling $52.50. This cycle continues, and your money starts to absolutely snowball with compounding interest. Very, very cool. When discussing this, you'll want to keep these simple definitions in mind. The first thing is principal. Principal is the amount you're investing that you want to add value to over time. You can call it also your investment if you want. The next is the interest rate. This is the specific percentage value that your investment will be increased by during each compounding period. Most of the time, it's expressed as a percentage, like 8%, 10%. In some financial vehicles, your interest rate may fluctuate, and you may see it as a fraction or a decimal number. Just check your yearly product report each year to see exactly what gains you've received and at what rate. Now, third, you'll want to know your compounding frequency, and that's how often your money will be compounded. And this makes a big, big difference. Is it daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, biannually? There's all kinds of compounding frequencies. You just need to know what you're dealing with. If it gives just a number like 12, then it's usually referring to the number of times per year that the compounding occurs. So 12 would be monthly. Now, lastly, there's the time value involved, and that shows you the duration of the investment. How long is this product set to compound? A year, 5 years, 10 years? The time is usually expressed as a number of repeating full compounding periods. So Know those terms, and you'll know what you're talking about with regards to compounding interest. Now, compounding interest is especially effective for young people, say 30 and below, because $300 to $500 a month with compounding interest can turn literally into millions of dollars when you start that early. Long term, there's no savings investment more lucrative than when you're getting interest on your interest. But don't you have to keep putting money in to get compounding interest? No. Once it's started, it'll just keep going as long as you leave it alone. Of course, if you do put more principal in, it will obviously get much better results. Just like when you have a bonfire, right? And the flames, they'll grow exponentially higher and hotter the more wood you throw on. Now let's cover a common question related to compounding interest. What's the difference between compounding interest and just regular old interest? A great question. It's important to be able to distinguish between these two in whatever investment or savings vehicle you're looking into. With simple interest, you are not getting interest on your interest like you do in compounding. With simple interest, there's an interest calculation and a sum that you start with when you begin the product. And that same amount, that same sum, that same value is added each time. So that value does not change. It never goes up, it never increases. With compounding, on the other hand, it means that the dollar amount that you're going to get in interest year after year goes up. It's being multiplied because you are getting interest on your past interest. Now, that's a much better deal, right? Of course. Compound interest over time is like a turbo boost to simple interest. It's much more preferable because, hey, it's the bottom line. It's going to give us more money. All right, now let's have a little bit of fun. If you go online and just do a simple search for compound calculator, you'll get a few options that will enable you to put in whatever numbers you want and see the kind of compounding interest that you can get on that investment. It's pretty inspiring because you can really see the difference between simple interest and compound interest. The difference is staggering. All right, let's take a look at this, for example. We're saying we're going to invest $100 into some financial vehicle, knowing we would get an 8% return on $100 each year. And we did that for 10 years. Our calculator shows us that our final balance will be $180 because each year the same interest amount is going to be added to that $100, and that sum is $8. It does not change. So $8 times 10 years is 80, so we end up with $180. But now, take a look at this. If we swap and go from simple interest to compound interest and put in the same thing, let's see what the results are. With those same amounts, the future investment value we earned was $215.89, a higher return on our cash, without us having to do anything differently. And remember, this is only putting in the initial $100, not adding any more money during that 10 years at all. We're just sitting there and letting it grow. All right, let's do another one. Let's go back to simple interest and this time try $1,000. Let's be conservative with the rate this time. Let's put the interest rate at 5%. And this time we'll put 20 years as the growing period. So if we just put in $1,000, never put in any more at 5% interest for 20 years, using this simple interest calculation, your final balance would be $2,000. Well, hey, you put in 1,000 and you got 2,000 back. That's double your money, right? That's pretty good. But you can do better. Now let's go to compounding. Put in $1,000, 5% interest, 20 years. Now look what happened. $2,653.30. And that's again just putting the 1,000 in and not putting any more in after that. So you got more money with compounding, just as we expected. Now let's do something that'll really blow your mind. What if I change the compounding instead of yearly to monthly? Oh, this is going to be good. Notice I'm putting in the same numbers, $1,000 at 5% over 20 years. But this time, compounded monthly. Check out that cash total, $12,089,258.20. Unfreaking believable. What a cash total just from putting in $1,000 and waiting 20 years. Wow, sign me up right now. I want that plan. Have any of you ever hired somebody to do a job? Maybe you're a business owner and you have employees. It can be a good feeling, right, to watch them get the work done for you while you're out doing other things. Well, guess what? Quite possibly the most valuable worker that you will ever employ is compound interest. It's going to sit and work for you year after year, working harder and harder, just getting you bigger and better results while you go do whatever you want. Besides maybe a huge win in a stock market, there's nothing that works better than compound interest. And unlike betting on stocks in the market, there's usually no risk involved, which for many is the preferred route. But remember, by definition, compound interest is not a get rich quick scheme. If you want your money to really work for you and do the heavy lifting of getting to, say, $1 million or more for your retirement, you have to invest it and let it stay there. Let it sit and do its work. Any money you take out is working against you. And the ultimate goal, right, is to have the most money set aside to live off of when you need it, which is retirement. Because let's face it, no one wants to live or die broke. Remember, successful people make a habit of doing what unsuccessful people just don't like to do. Well, I hope today's video inspires you as much as it does me to go out and use compound interest to your own benefit as much as possible. Diversify those portfolios and always have compounding interest in there, chugging away in the background, accumulating more and more wealth for you so that when retirement comes, no matter what you face as you get older, you'll have a nest egg so large, it'll be like our daughter who worked for Disney says, Hakuna Matata, man, no worries. Just partner with a dependable, stable financial institution like the ones that I work with that have respected compounding interest products. And by all means, put a lot of money in them. In 10 or 20 years, depending on your principal amounts, you could actually achieve millionaire status and beyond. So whether you're saving for retirement or building wealth for generations to come, don't wait. Now is the time to start harnessing the power of compound interest for your own gain. If you have any further questions, just leave them in the comments below or shoot me an email at the link below this video as well. Remember too that this channel and others like it are here to help you navigate financial waters by sharing our own stories about what's worked for us and our clients. I'm in this market on a daily basis as a national NIPR producer and financial professional. But what we say here on this channel should not be construed as financial advice to you. For that, you should consult with your own tax or financial professional. Stay tuned on this channel, though, for a breakdown of my top compound interest choices, their pros and their cons. That's going to be coming up soon. But for now, remember that wealth does wait for you, but it takes a deliberate decision to make it possible. Maybe even with compounding interest. The question is, what are you doing today to make that happen? This is TJ at Wealth Waits. The best of success to you from all your efforts.